Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football. From the latest signings to this year's breakout stars and all the news in between, as always, I am Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
Hey, man, how's your weekend?
It was pretty quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't really do anything.
No?
No. Just sat down, tried to watch some football, the games I could, and did some work around the house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very quiet weekend, very laid back, very relaxed. Now I'm ready to go and get into our 54th episode.
Yeah, 54th
yes.
episode. It's a lot of episodes.
Lot.
All right. Well, today in the world of the GSMC podcast network and the football podcast, we're going to talk, update you, recap the preseason week 1 action.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about actual football games now.
Yeah,
yes, I'm so excited. Yes, I've been waiting for this.
Same here.
I've been waiting for this since late April, early May when we started this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll recap some of the scores, notable games, players that we were impressed by, some that we weren't necessarily impressed by as much, and some that we want to see a little bit more of. We'll move on to some news out of Pittsburgh and Ladarius Green, their prized free agent signing, who still has yet to suit up in practice for them, citing reasons why, and we'll get into that later. And then an update on some former NFL players and college football players that are in the Olympics over in Rio. So we're going to start the show off with news that broke this morning, as a matter of fact, and that's the Saints' first-round pick, Sheldon Rankins, broke his fibula during practice today. Yeah, just to give you an update on that real quick, that is unfortunate for them. Defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, he was carted off the field this morning, in what they believe to be, based off initial tests, a broken fibula.
Yeah, he's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Not good.
Not good for the number 12 overall pick for the Saints. Somebody they're hoping could help that defensive line, who already has some pretty disruptive pass rushes on the outside, a decent linebacker behind them now with the signing of free agent veteran James Laurinaitis, and hoping, somebody like Rankins can come in, start from day one, and really be the disruptor in the middle of the defensive line there. Unfortunately, he is going to miss a chunk of time, a significant chunk of time, as a matter of fact, of his rookie year. Yeah,
it's a big blow to the New Orleans Saints defense, who have saw very good things from Rankins in camp. He showed some athleticism, even intercepted pass by Tom Brady in a joint practice with the Patriots last week. So they got that going for him.
Hey,
man.
You can't always, especially a defensive lineman. How many defensive linemen can say they've intercepted Tom Brady?
No, not many.
I probably could count. You could probably count them on one hand, I would say.
How many is it, Alex, on one hand?
I would say, that'd be no more than 5. Jeremiah.
Okay.
One hand is 5.
I know. But I'm just saying you
could probably count it on one hand.
Okay, yeah. I'm saying, I thought you knew the exact number. okay.
No,
I know what you're talking. I know how many fingers are in one hand, Alex.
That would be hard. You'd have to go through every one of his interceptions in his career, which I'm sure is in.
That would take a lot.
You'd have to literally look at every individual
research.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
That's going back all the way to what, 2001.
Yeah, I don't have the resources to do that. Oh man. Well, hey, moving on. Okay, so we're gonna get into some actual football action. I'm going to recap the scores for you real quick. It was a pretty solid first week.
It was. It started off really great, but it ended so poorly.
Yeah, it had a really good stretch of good games, and yesterday's game was just boring.
It was just boring, and it's just awful.
Yeah, so recap some scores. Washington did lose to Atlanta 23-17. Philadelphia did beat Tampa Bay 17-9. Baltimore over Carolina 22-19 in what ended as a very last-second win for them. It was very impressive. New England over New Orleans 34-22. Jacksonville lost to the Jets 17-13. Denver blew out, in a sense, Chicago 22-0. Miami over the Giants, 27-10. 30-17, Detroit takes the win over Pittsburgh. Minnesota and Cincinnati in what was roughly the closest game of the stretch this week in Minnesota and Cincinnati, 17-16, with Minnesota walking away with the victory there. Green Bay won its opener, 17-11 over RG3-led Cleveland. Oakland Raiders looked very impressive over Arizona,
their reserves
31-10.
looked very impressive in this game.
An equally close game, Indianapolis and Buffalo, 19-18, also close. And then we had the inaugural L.A. Rams, Dallas Cowboys, first game back in L.A.
At the
for
Coliseum.
the Rams, at the Coliseum in over almost 2 decades, almost about a decade and a half, roughly. L.A. did win in late fashion, 28-24. Tennessee did beat San Diego 27-10, and then the snooze fest in which it showed to be Houston beat San Francisco 24-13. So,
my favorite game from the Saturday lineup was Seattle and the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was
a very good last second.
Well.
Yes, I like that. That was a very good ending to that game.
Now, the most impressive game to me, I would say, before we get into some players who really impressed, I would say the most impressive game to me overall was the Raider-Arizona game.
Yeah,
they did well from start to end.
Exactly. The reserves, they competed in a preseason game. Like, this team really competed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the reserves.
Exactly.
Like, that's
100%.
what I explained on the, I think on Thursday's episode, where we're kind of like previewing the week 1 of the preseason. I said the Raiders had one of the deepest rosters in the league, and it's going to be tough for Reggie McKenzie and Jack Del Rio to make some roster cuts. And I think this game really showed that. There was just these reserves for the Oakland Raiders. They were just dominant.
Yeah, so we're going to get into some players that really impressed me, and one of them being George Atkinson III, son of former Raider George Atkinson. He ran 5 times for 97 yards and 2 scores.
Yes,
it
very
was
huge.
Very, very impressive.
Very long touchdown runs.
Yeah,
very long.
He showed
quick.
He showed speed. He showed burst. They got a lot of good play out of their running back position too. It was impressive. If they can have a 1-2 punch of somebody like Latavius Murray and George Atkinson, wear him down with the power that Murray has, and beat him with the speed that somebody like Atkinson has.
That's huge for Murray right there.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge for somebody like Derek Carr.
Too.
Take the pressure off of him. DeAndre Washington, another rookie. He was undrafted, I want to say. He had a pretty good game too. He ran for, let me click this out of the way, 8 rushes for 43 yards as well. Now, both of George Atkinson's long runs, he tied 53 twice. The majority of his runs, clearly if you have 5 for 97, you had some long runs there for the day. But he's a quick guy. Aforementioned Washington there, the running back, had a catch for 32 yards. So they're pretty deep at a lot of these positions. They had a really impressive touchdown catch by Walford, a really, really
Clyde
impressive
Walford,
one by Andre Holmes as well. Connor Cook, we saw some action from him, 7 for 11 for 71 yards. Derek Carr only played a little while, 44 yards passing there. But Matt McGloin was the catalyst there, passing 5 for 11, 41 yards and 2 touchdowns.
The Raiders did lose defensive end Mario Edwards Jr., who was taken to the locker room, and he was on crunches as he left the locker room after the game. So I think the team spokesman said it was a hip injury that Mario Edwards suffered during the game. Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty tough blow for the defense because, you're looking at a very solid front 7.
Yep.
And he was a very huge part of that and was going to be this year.
Yeah, 100%.
But the good thing for the Raiders is they got so much depth this year is that I think they can pretty much plug anyone in and be like the next man up type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So lucky that they have the depth and, the roster that they have to kind of like replace him in a way. Yeah.
So going from a game that had pretty solid depth at the running back position to a game that had pretty solid depth at the quarterback position, and a game I want to get into a little bit was one of my more impressive games to watch was the Rams-Cowboys game. Now, I'm not going to start where you think. I'm going to start on the Rams side. So I want to talk about all 3 of their quarterbacks. Case Keenum did, of course, start the game. He was 6 for 7, 58 yards. Goff did come in first overall pick by the Rams this year, Jared Goff. It was interesting to see. So he didn't get much protection. His first pass actually, or his second pass, was intercepted.
It was in the first drive.
Yeah, he was hit. I'm saying his first or second pass.
Yeah.
He was hit while he threw, and the ball kind of just went up and down. Intercepted by a linebacker.
He had no help.
No, he had no help. He had some good passes that were dropped. Not impressive in that sense. Who impressed me a lot was Sean Mannion. Sorry.
Yeah, he did really good. He was part of the reason why they came back in that game.
147 yards, 3 touchdowns. But I just wanted to give him the credit. Credit.
Yeah, he's played really good.
Very impressive.
He played really good.
Who I was most impressed by in that game at the quarterback position was none other than Dak Prescott, who, as of right now, I'm going to say of all the rookie quarterbacks from Week 1, was by far the most impressive.
Yeah, he looks like the best one so far. Yeah. I know it's only Week 1 of the preseason, but the small sample size is very good. And and as of right now, I think he's a reasonable option to be the backup in Dallas.
100%. That just gives him a lot of time to mull their options over at signing another quarterback. He was 10 for 12, 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. He added
some of the throws he did,
2 rushes for 13.
The throws that he made on his touchdown drives were just
touchdown to Dez Bryant was he had the kind of poise where he knew to throw to Dez the way Romo throws to Dez. He threw it up for him to get. He watched him with his, he had the corners back to him when he threw the ball. Like, he got that, upside of having Dez in the position to, catch it with his, in the position to, if he's not going to get, no one is, because the DB, again, he was trapped with his back to him. He had a beautiful touchdown pass to Tramon Williams, 32 yards. He was just really impressive, honestly, the entire game. He was
really
looking
poised.
Safeties off.
He looked really poised, especially going against that defense.
Yeah, that defensive line. He started the game.
Yeah.
And he played against starters. It wasn't like I saw Colin Cowherd, of ESPN, formerly in Fox Sports 1. He was like, oh, yeah, Dak is so impressive playing against backups. And I was like, dude, he played against starters. Like,
yeah, he started the game.
He looked good. He had, like I said, he was looking off the safeties. He was using his eyes. He was
really
impressive.
Reading the defense like you should be.
Yeah, from his point of view, they should have won that game pretty much because he put them in the position to win the game. And then even back up.
Yeah, I think they're winning 21-7 at halftime because of Dak Prescott. Yeah.
Even Jameel Showers, the backup behind him, had a pretty solid game. 99 yards passing off 8 attempts. He ran the ball once for 17 yards. He had a beautiful pass down the sideline to Vince Maley, formerly of Washington State. He looked good too. So, this definitely gives them a lot of options there at the quarterback position, going into, getting closer to the season. Another game I kept my eye on, and it's a quarterback battle we've been talking about. I want to get into some of the quarterback battles, is the Broncos and the Bears. Again, 22-0 in favor of Denver. First win for the Super Bowl defending champions. Mark Sanchez went a pretty good game, 10 for 13, 99 yards, 1 touchdown pass.
It was what you really expect from him in a way.
Yeah. He had a touchdown pass to Demaryius Thomas. Trevor Siemian went 7 for 12, 88 yards, looked efficient as well. Even Paxton Lynch, 6 for 7, 74 yards, also looked pretty impressive, at least in terms of his first action.
So as of right now, it looks like Mark Sanchez is still in the lead.
Yeah, because I would say none of them did anything to hurt them.
They really didn't.
10 for 13, 7 for 12, 6 for 7. Excuse me, in terms of saying I don't think Paxton Lynch could probably win this, only because I think they want him to sit,
Well, the Mark Sanchez touchdown pass, I believe is to the Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, it was a long pass to
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yeah, it was a long pass, but
underthrew him a bit, but not in a bad sense.
But he was wide open.
Oh, yeah, he blew past him. And the ball was in the end zone. And when you have a guy like Demaryius, he can jump for it,
And plus, the corner blew the coverage in that play.
Oh, 100% blew the coverage.
So I can't give Mark Sanchez too much credit for that. Mm-hmm. But when he was needed to make plays, he did.
Yeah, no, like I said, he played well.
He did.
He did
have some Mark Sanchez type of plays.
He did throw an interception.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did throw an interception. I didn't see the interception, actually. It's not a game I caught all of. I did see Sanchez. I did see some of Simeon. I've watched Paxton's highlights. Didn't see the interception, though. Was it bad?
It wasn't as bad, but it was a Mark Sanchez type of throw because he threw it in very tight coverage.
Oh yeah, he likes to push his luck sometimes.
So that's
when
what
he feels he likes to.
So
really
that's what you get from Mark Sanchez. Like you're gonna get really good plays, but you're also gonna get really bad plays in a way. But yeah,
I say it couldn't have been as bad as Orlovsky's interception.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Look at he threw with his left hand.
No.
And then what really sealed the deal for the Broncos was, of course, what you expect from the Broncos is they had 2 defensive scores, a blocked punt, and a safety to really help push that win forward. Moving on to another quarterback battle, and that would be the Browns. Now, although that has been decided as at least now RG3 is the starter, it is still somewhat of a battle in the sense of it's his job to lose if he just goes out there and just has a horrible
pretty much
preseason.
Just blows it.
Yeah, he was 4 for 8, 67 yards, an interception that really I don't think you can blame on him. He threw to Gary Barnidge, and it looked like he wanted Barnidge to cut the ball in more or cut the route in more, and he didn't really. So that, unfortunately, he did have a pick. But he was 4 for 8, 67 yards. He did look good. Austin Davis, who's had the most time besides McCown in this offense, was 4 for 9, 32 yards. Nothing great, nothing bad. McCown 1 for 4, 5 yards, but our boy Cody Kessler 2 for 2, 15, 1 touchdown.
Another player that I really was impressed by was Terrell Pryor, a former quarterback who's now a receiver.
Yeah, had made a great catch on one of those balls.
And a long one too, 49.
Yeah, he had 2 catches for 57 yards, and one of them was 49 yards.
Yeah, and he was targeted 3 times and caught 2 of them. So pretty good game, in my opinion, from Terrell Pryor.
Yeah, and just to give everybody the fair view on all the quarterbacks, Kessler did have the 2 passes for 15 yards and the touchdown. It was a nice back shoulder, nice back shoulder pass to, I want to say it was Higgins, excuse me. But he was responsible for a sack out of bounds in the end zone for a safety and a sack in the end zone for a safety. So, it's a rookie mistake, something that happens. So, what are you going to do? But it was impressive to see RG3 looks crisp, for his first action in a long time, I would say. And, you move on and you see what it is.
Another game that I really want to get into is the Jimmy G's first game.
I was just going to say Jimmy G, yeah.
Jimmy G. If you don't know who Jimmy G is by now, it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
If you don't know who Jimmy G is by now, you haven't been listening to our show.
Or you just living under a rock. You're like Patrick Starr.
Living under a rock.
Yeah. But anyways, the New England Patriots, they won 34-22.
That's the first game I watched.
New England Saints. Well, I think it was the first game I had my eye on too.
It was of the first 3. It was the one that was on NFL Network. So it was the one that was televised. So I had to watch it, which is fine. I wanted to watch them.
I don't even have NFL Network, but
I didn't for the longest time. Remember, I just got it back.
I did keep up with the game on Twitter, so that's another way that how I kept up with it. But yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo looked pretty good. Pretty good.
He looked not bad.
That's what I said. He looked good.
Yeah,
that's why I said he looked good. He didn't
looked great.
He didn't make any bad plays. He just played good enough. Kind of what I expect him to play like this season.
Yeah, no, I mean he didn't do a lot at the beginning of the game necessarily, in the sense of he definitely didn't put him in a position to go out there and blow him out or anything. The defense did get them some good turnovers in the beginning and a defensive score at the beginning of the game. But he played the entire first half. He finished with 168 yards passing, 11 for 18. So a good game. It was kind of skewed in terms of if you just look at the stats. I felt like he threw short of the first down a few times. He didn't look like he's really pushing the ball downfield a lot.
Well, those are plays that you can make in preseason.
And, of course, it's the first game.
It's first game.
Mm-hmm.
But a play that I was really impressed with was New England Patriots running back Tyler Gaffney.
Yeah, Tyler Gaffney was pretty impressive.
He was pretty good.
Yards,
this is a guy that was on practice squads for the past few seasons.
For most of his
career.
Yeah.
His career. And he was really impressive in this game. As of right now, he has a roster spot, but then again, it is the first preseason game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he made some really impressive runs, especially that 44-yard run, and which was, I believe, it was a touchdown. His only touchdown of the game?
So. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
And no, that was impressive too. Other games that were really impressive to me, like I said, watching the Seattle Kansas City game. The Minnesota Cincinnati game was enjoyable. Obviously, I watched every single play of the Pittsburgh
I know
game.
you did.
I watched every single play of the Tennessee San Diego game. Like I watched these like full on real games. Let's cover one more game, one more quarterback battle, and we'll take our break.
Okay. Well,
and
we're
know what that is. And
yes.
That was the snooze fest last night between the Houston Texans and the San Francisco 49ers.
This was the definition of a preseason exhibition game.
Oh my God!
This was the exact definition.
I want to get into some stuff with the Niners now. Let's go with the starters. Let's start with this.
Okay, Blaine Gabbert did get the start,
and Brock Osweiler got the start with the Texans.
Okay, and then Colin Kaepernick
looked bad.
They did, and Colin Kaepernick
did not play.
Did not play because of his
soreness, right?
Short, yeah.
So Osweiler routinely looked, had issues that he had, his entire career with the Broncos, throwing short of the sticks, not pushing downfield like he can, like they signed up for with this quote unquote big arm of his. He ended the game 4 for 7, 27. So he really left a lot of want there. That you want to see more of him.
He only averaged 3.9 yards per throw. Completion is.
I thought they should have left him in there a little longer. It's his first game in the system. Maybe leave him in there for 2-3 drives. So, I don't know exactly how long he played, but 4 for 7 for 27 yards. They definitely want to see more than that.
And then Blaine Gabbert.
Oh my God!
Oh, the way that the Niners started this game was the way you expect them to start.
Don't get me started in it.
The way that they started this game was on a fumble, and the Texans returned for a touchdown.
Yeah, now listen, I like Blaine Gabbert. I do like Blaine Gabbert. I would like him to win this.
He did make some plays with his feet at times.
Yeah,
but
he ran for 18 yards.
He only completed 40% of his passes.
Yeah, he was 4 for 10 for 63 yards.
He did have a touchdown.
He won one touchdown. Not because of him. Because of Vance McDonald.
Exactly.
Now, it was, like I said, 4 for 10, 63 yards passing and a touchdown. That touchdown came on a 39. Let me find it real quick. That pass, 43. That 43, came on 43 yards. That came on one pass. So
20 of his other yards were on his other 3 throws.
Yeah, 20 yards came from his other. That's it.
I think it was Blaine Gabbert's job to lose.
Yeah, and as of right now,
and he hasn't really separated himself.
This was
his chance with Colin Kaepernick not playing. Now Kaepernick does have a chance if he is active for the next preseason game.
Yeah, because
he does have a chance to close that gap.
He
did nothing.
Thad Lewis played better than him. He's 12 for 21, 97 yards. He didn't really make any mistakes.
Driscoll
didn't make many. He's again 4 for 12, 20 yards. He was what Gabbert was without the long pass, but he did make a lot of good plays on the run.
61 rushing yards.
Yeah, on 5 attempts.
Yeah.
That's like we said going into
he was
camp,
very athletic. His athleticism I don't think was accounted for.
No,
no one really knows about it.
Like
exactly.
That. Yeah, so that was impressive to see. Carlos Hyde looked good. I would give that to the Niners. Carlos Hyde.
Mike Davis did look good. Also
5 for 72. Yeah, on one real long run there at 44 as well. Gabbert again. I'm done talking about Gabbert. He didn't do anything for me in this game.
I thought this was his
Osweiler
chance.
Didn't do anything for me.
This was Gabbert's chance to separate himself, and he hasn't done that yet. And Osweiler, he's lucky that he's set as the starter, or else he wouldn't have separated himself as the starter.
Yeah, 100%,
he's lucky there's no competition there in Houston.
Yeah.
He's really lucky.
Tom Savage did play well though. This is his third year, I think, in the league.
Yeah, he did.
168 yards passing on 14 attempts, 2 touchdowns. So that was impressive. I liked that. Lamar Miller did look good in his first game with the Texans, 4 for 30 yards. So that was impressive to see. Braxton Miller looked good, 4 for 34 as well. Well, they're 4 for 34, not 4 for 30. But
yeah, he did.
He had a real nice catch from Savage. Brandon Weeden looked like typical Brandon Weeden, 0 for 1, only got 1 pass attempt. Will Fuller had his first catch in the NFL, 1 for 4. So a lot to be wanted in both of these teams. It was definitely a preseason game.
Yeah, this was the exact definition of a preseason game.
Yeah. But we're going to take our first break, and we're going to get into some news on Ladarius Green, tight end out of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then we're going to talk Olympic stuff, and we're going to get out of here. So, as always, we will be right back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. Now I'm going to throw it back to Mr. Pittsburgh Steeler, Alex over here, regarding news of Ladarius Green.
Yeah, so Ladarius Green, it's been news that he's still getting over his, ankle surgery he had in this offseason, and news came out this week that it's not his ankle that's really hampering him and keeping him out of plays and practice. He has yet to practice with the Steelers. It is that he currently is dealing with headaches and residual headaches that have hampered him since he had 2 concussions last season near the end of the year. And that's really apparently what's been keeping him out of the game, out of practice and out of any kind of contact or anything. And this is their prized offseason.
He was their
acquisition.
He was their big one.
4 years, $20 million. He's learning the system. I mean, I think he's the kind of guy that if he could be out there, he would be out there. You have guys like Paul Zeese. I've never been a huge fan of his because he's just so much to the dramatic. He says that the Steelers should cut him. He's lost all reliability because he didn't tell them about his headaches. But then again, did he know about the headaches? You know what I mean? Like, were they something that just came on as of late? Or, in that aspect, he's so dramatic in that sense. But honestly, it's a blow in the sense of they got him knowing what he could do for the offense.
It's a blow for what they paid for him.
Yeah, I mean, I still think he can come and he can contribute and, all well and good. I still think he can do all of that. But like I said, 4 years, $20 million, that's a big investment for somebody who might not be able to play their entire first year because of these injuries,
Yeah, and
headaches.
They really do need Ladarius Green because remember, Heath Miller retired. He's not with the team anymore. And the other tight ends they have on the roster.
They have second-year player Jesse James.
Yeah.
They have Xavier Grimble, and they have former Steeler who has since come back, David Johnson, who's a hybrid. He plays a fullback tight end position, but they have Roosevelt Nix at the tight end. The fullback spot. So it would be more so of an H-back tight end spot for. Who did I just said his name? I'm sorry. For that guy,
David Johnson.
For David Johnson, thank you. Sorry, Will Johnson. Will Johnson was the former.
That was really funny.
Thank you. Will Johnson was the former fullback last year, and he was kind of a hybrid H-back too. So all of a sudden, he popped in my head, and I forgot David Johnson's name. And so this actually might, if this hampers him longer, this might actually, lead for an opportunity for David Johnson to make the roster again. I thought when they signed him, it was just until Ladarius came back as a precaution, depth of the position. But this actually might lead for a spot for him because he is very versatile in that aspect. But yeah, they have really, in a sense, nobody proven behind somebody like Ladarius Green, especially losing Heath Miller, who was the all-time leader in franchise history when it came to the tight end position, and he was really up there in tight end yards also. My favorite to fill the need, because they do have Matt Spaeth still, but he's primarily a blocking tight end. I would say he fills the need for that for sure. But it would be second-year tight end Jesse James, the outlaw from Penn State. He is a huge 6'7", huge guy. He's got good hands. He had 3 touchdown catches last year. I would say when we drafted him, I wanted him to be the eventual replacement. Excuse me. Now, he's not as much of a natural receiver as Ladarius is, but he did have 3 touchdown catches last year, one of them against the Seahawks. So he, good defense there, not just, getting open against, crap defenders or anything. He did play well against good teams. He knows how to get open. He's got a big body. He's a receiving tight end, I would say more so than a blocking tight end. And again, they have Matt Spaeth for that. But me personally, losing Martavis Bryant, somebody who can stretch the field, losing Le'Veon, I wanted Ladarius to be in there because that's just another weapon that could help that team. So personally, I really hope he gets healthy soon. I hope he plays. Otherwise, it's a blow. It really is.
Yeah, and we've seen what Ladarius Green can do in limited time. Because remember, he wasn't even the star in San Diego.
Yeah,
and people thought he was going to be, but
he played great last year.
But Antonio Gaines had kind of like he kind of like reinvigoration. There you go.
Yeah, he
Thank you.
He reinvented himself when he came back from his 4-game suspension last year, being against the Steelers.
Exactly.
And I think he had like 100th or something tight. Like he hit a milestone.
He's probably the best tight end, one of the best tight ends in football last year.
Yeah, and Ladarius Green started the season as he started the season on a tear, four touchdowns in his first 5 games.
So we
really
know what Ladarius Green can do.
Yeah, limited action last year.
This was actually going to expand his role. He was probably on his way to being
one of the
top,
most featured tight ends.
Yeah, this season.
Yeah, he was 37 receptions, 429 yards in what was somewhat of an injury-plagued season last year. Yeah, with injuries to the ankle, obviously, and the concussions, and he played well. So I'm hoping he, as a Steeler fan and a football fan, you'd want somebody to get healthy. But as a Steeler fan, I really hope he gets out there.
Yeah, so all it is just a matter of time him getting healthy. That's all it is.
Yeah, I really hope so. So, that was a quick segment. We got to get back and hit another break, and then we're going to talk Olympic news, and then we're gonna head out. So.
Oh yeah, all right, let's get going.
All right, so hey, the second break is coming at you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back at the Golden State Media Concepts. What is it, Jeremiah?
Football podcast.
Nice, man. I like it. I like it a lot.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
And we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. I'm going to toss it to Jeremiah for the last quick segment of the day.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Summer Olympic Games in Rio. How have you been watching the Olympics?
I've been good. Thank you for asking.
Have you been watching?
Yeah, I've been watching, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. Man,
it's a good Olympics.
This USA team is just unbelievable.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, dude, is for once, as a fan watching the Olympics men's basketball team has actually faced more like competition this
than
Olympics
than I think they
ever have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
and the USA women's basketball team just dominated. I think they won
they're
their
dominating.
45th straight game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Michael Phelps winning like 100 gold medals every year, and then it's pretty amazing. But we do have a couple of football players in the Olympics this year. One of them is actually back with his team.
Mm-hmm. He
rejoined his team on Sunday. That is Nate Ebner of the New England Patriots, who competed in rugby.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, the rugby team, they place, I think, around 9th place in the...
Yeah, they did well.
9th place, yeah. Yeah, they won 2 games, but they did struggle against top-seeded Fiji and another team, I believe. But yeah, there was Nate Ebner was welcome back, and they did make a roster move, so he's back on the active roster, and it's going to take him a while to get back in football shape because in the USA Today article that I read, he lost some weight because they ran like 20 to 30 minutes every day. And
so he has to, a lot.
So he has to
get back into football.
He has to regain. He has to kind of gain weight, but muscle weight for that matter. And I'm kind of interested to see him a lot more now.
Yeah.
Because he was one of those players that wasn't really known around the NFL universe, to the average fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a lot more eyes could be on him during the preseason. So it's one of the. I think it's more of a storyline.
He could be notable now.
Yeah, notable now.
People will be like, "Hey, he was in the Olympics."
Yeah, and then another Olympian was Jabin Bess, former Detroit Lions and Cal running back. He actually failed to qualify in the 100-meter quarterfinals.
Yes.
Yeah, and guess who he ran against in his first ever Olympic race?
Oh, probably some scrubs or something.
No, man. Usain Bolt.
Who just won a gold medal last night.
Yeah, exactly. Who is probably one.
He's the most decorated runner of all time.
Of all time.
Has to be.
No, he is.
It's insane.
You can't beat him. It's just insane.
It's Usain.
It's Usain in the membrane.
You like that?
He's Usain in the membrane.
I remember when there was a rumor that some NFL teams were going to explore the idea of signing him or something.
Who?
I forget who it was, but it was like the rumor that that team would go out and sign Usain Bolt.
Oh no, dude! Usain Bolt, I don't see him being
as fast as he is.
Yeah,
I don't think he can handle the beatings.
Because
he's a big guy too.
He's tall.
Yeah,
but he's not big. Like he's
buff, but it's like that tone buff.
Yeah, he's not like football buff in a way, like NFL buff. Yeah,
that's true. I get what you mean.
And of course, we got one more Olympian, Devon Allen of the Oregon Ducks.
Yes.
Yeah, he's actually going to be competing in this first race tonight in the 100-meter relay. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see Devon Allen because he has so much success in college too. He, especially in the NCAA championships and the tournaments. So yeah.
Yeah, no, he's like I said, it's interesting to take a look at for sure. I mean, I wonder how he's going to fare personally. And see if he advances because that's something else we get to talk about. All right, well, hey, we are done here. Again, we have our shows coming up this following, Wednesday and Thursday.
Wait, before we
go ahead. What you got?
The teams that the United States rugby team defeated were Spain and Brazil, but lost to Argentina and Fiji. So I wanted to get that out there.
Okay.
I couldn't find it in my notes, but I found it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next episode, we're going to be talking into SEC preview. That we've finished all our college preview.
This is the final one. This is probably...
It's probably going to be the best one.
The best one of all time.
Yeah. And then
this is going to be the GOAT.
Oh, God. Okay. And then following those shows later on this week, of course, we're going to preview the preseason games for this week as well. Games like the Steelers at the Eagles at Steelers, Bengals at Lions. You got the Raiders going to face the Packers, the Vikings, and the Seahawks, a rematch of that NFC game in the playoffs that we saw that was so dramatic. You have Jeremiah, your favorite team in the 49ers, visiting the defending Super Bowl champion Broncos, and some more action from first-round pick Jared Goff.
Two quarterback battles in one game.
Yeah, exactly. And then other little matchups like that. In-state rivalry between the Jaguars and the Bucks. You got the Titans playing the Panthers. You got the Chargers and the Cardinals, and some more Dak Prescott action against the Dolphins. So. Hopefully and also before we get going, hopefully our first sight of Christian Hackenberg, who did not play in the first game.
Yeah,
mainly probably because he doesn't just quite have. I
was really disappointed that I didn't see him yet.
Probably just not the reps down.
Yeah.
There. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to that. So as always, we'd like to thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Twitter, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. On iTunes and Instagram, it's going to be the GSMC_football. You can find us on the aforementioned streaming sites at the GSMC Football Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as well and the Facebook at GSMC Football Podcast or the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. I believe it comes up the same way. And our website, gsmcpodcast.com. You have anything you want to add, Jeremiah? Anything you want to say before we get going?
I do not, man. I just got to say what's good going and let's do the other show.
All right, man.
Let's do it.
So as always, I am Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And we will see you guys on our next episode. Goodbye.